Ich glaube, das Finale wird wahrscheinlich viele Stunden noch dauern. Weiß nicht mehr, ob ich das dann überhaupt in einer Stream-Session durchkriege. Half a day passed in the blink of an eye. 5 towering spires had appeared throughout Abyronia, as well as a massive floating stronghold. At first the people fell into a panic, but announcements from the imperial government eventually calmed their unrest. Though some did so with exhausted resignation and others with an eerie sort of excitement, all turned to face tomorrow's coming war. Das ist schlecht. Wo ist Jubilee? Those on the greatest two quickly sent out emergency messages to all their allies. Together they were tirelessly attempting to make sense of the situation as much as possible. As a result, they concluded that the ancient floating fortress had appeared a part of the final stage of the Empire's curse. Its powerful energies would further twist and warp the people's minds in order to drive them to endless war and bloodshed. In addition, the true nature of the numerous white spires was instantly clear to those with ties to the church. They were nearly identical to the Sword Pale, the product of a singularity and the cause of a Northambrian disaster 28 years ago. It was hypothesized they were created from residual matter of the original Salt Pale that had remained underground. However, unlike the original Salt Pale, those new ones did not convert their surroundings to salt. Rather, they appear to be spiritually linked to the floating fortress. A multi-layered barrier was also observed surrounding the fortress, with initial analysis revealing it to be completely impenetrable. Was blinkt denn da? Operation Jormungand showed no signs of slowing, but the resistance represented by Mil Mirage was also gathering momentum. Calvert, Liberl, and Remiferia mustered their forces along with support from the Wiseland army. The time for the continent's two great powers to clash drew nearer and nearer, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. Oliver, Green, and the rest of the Radiant Wings would not stand idly by and watch fate unfold, however. As they were trying to decide their best course of action, they received an unexpected message from an old friend. Oh! It was George. He had called to fill them in on what was happening. The massive object that had appeared over the Osgiliath Basin was an ancient superweapon by the gnomes, the Tuatha De Danann, otherwise known as the Imperial Fortress. It was an airborne structure from before the Great Collapse that had been hidden away in a space-time distortion caused by the Great One's birth. For the past millennium, the gnomes had been carrying out large-scale renovations on the fortress. It had been converted to connect to the pales and interface with the curse through them, turning it into the ideal stage for the rivalry of the Seven. It was there they intended to hold the final rivalry once the Great Twilight had reached its climax, for all the sake of reforging the Great One. All for the sake, so. Oh, Cassius, hi! However, though it was faint, a single spark of hope yet remained. The members of the Radiant Wings gathered together, joined by key personnel from Mil Mirage, and together they began devising an all-or-nothing plan to combat the dire situation before them. And so, it was that on the eve of the clash between Jormungand and Mil Mirage, a third operation was born. Their course of action decided, all those involved gathered together at a certain location in Crossbell. Lass mich raten, der dritte Weg, also Radiant Wing, Cold Steel, Operation Cold Steel. Würde mich nicht wundern. Das wäre dann der erste Mal der Title Drop. Also ich meine, der richtige Title Drop. Ne? Man hat immer Anspielungen gehabt, bla bla. Wegen dem Typen, dem Great One, Septarian of Steel, der geboren wurde und so weiter, aber alle kommen jetzt da zum Mishelam. So geil das auch war, ich möchte nicht nochmal so viele Dialoge haben wie das letzte Mal in der Pentacle. Zumindest nicht so viele, die unsynchronisiert sind. Ah. Hi, Beta. Ist hier eine Barriere darum, dass keiner da reinkommt oder was? Würde Sinn machen, wenn man eine große Operation aufzieht. Da kommt ja Roselia, oder? Ja. Der Name des Spiels.
I think it turned out very well. Thanks for your help, everyone.
It's not half bad if I do say so myself. Good work.
We should be thanking you guys. You're the ones who did the heavy lifting.
I still find it pretty hard to believe you were able to make a barrier over all of Mishelam.
It's something that could only be accomplished through combining the witch's spells, our stigmas, and the Merkaba.
Not to mention the raw power of 2 divine knights.
And then we were able to convert the Pantagruel's orbal energy into mana to sustain the barrier.
Ha ha ha! Such beautiful teamwork! If we can do something like this, the sky's the limit!
We ain't exactly here for a team-building exercise, you know.
In any event, the barrier should hold. At least for tonight.
It'll be able to absorb a few hits from any railway cannon shots that come our way. Not that we'll need to worry much about them, given they'll be busy with the war for the time being.
I'm sure as far as the Chancellor is concerned, we're simply some minor rabble, beneath his notice.
He probably sees us as nothing more than the opening act to the Great Twilight.
Opening act nothing. Doesn't he know we're the main event?
Yay, das ist auch alle.
Hey there, everyone.
Good to see you guys.
How are your rooms? Did you drop off all your things already? Yeah. Honestly, I was blown away by how ritzy this place is.
I can't believe we have it all to ourselves. Right? Even locals like us don't get many chances to stay here.
The last time was when Maribel invited us after the trade conference.
Oh man. That seems like it was 100 years ago.
Thinking back, it's kind of a bittersweet memory.
We had a lot of fun, though!
Looking around, we've got quite the crowd here now.
Yeah, and a lot of us are from Thor's, too.
We might as well live it up then. This is our last night before everything goes down, after all. You're right. Tomorrow's when everything will be decided.
Our future rests on the promise of Operation Shining Steel.
Okay, nicht Cold Steel, aber Shining Steel, okay.
Though honestly, it's still a pretty dicey plan.
Cold Steel, Shining Steel. Das Spiel einfach Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 4, Trails of Shining Steel nennen sollen.
So, this is Operation Shining Steel then?
After reviewing the whole plan like this, it seems more reckless than it does bold.
We may not have much margin for error, but I think this could actually work.
So basically, we're gonna get a bunch of teams to raid all the salt pails at once, put them out of commission, and then have the Courageous 2 charge into the fortress while its barrier is down. That about sum it up?
Yes, but there's little chance that things will go so smoothly. I'm sure we'll have a number of unforeseen circumstances to deal with. Our top priority, however, is making sure the Divine Knights and Class 7 get to the target.
That's right. So even if something goes awry and the Courageous 2 is unable to land, we can continue with the plan. As long as Reen and the others can successfully board the fortress in time, we still have a chance.
Our foes will try to end the rivalry of the Seven as the Great Twilight reaches its climax. If we manage to seize control of the rivalries before then, however, we may be able to prevent them from achieving their goals.
At this point, they think they've already won. It's likely they'll welcome Instructor Reen since they need him to finish the rivalries. And that will be our chance.
That's all fine and good. But what about the salt pails? One glance and you could tell they're bad news. They're giving off one hell of an ominous vibe.
Yes. They seem to be pulsing with energy from the lower and this same energy is what's letting them act as singularities, making them nearly impregnable.
Further, given the devils that have been appearing all over lately, I get the feeling we may find even worse things protecting each of the pails.
Yes. It's something we'll need to be prepared for.
Well, if we know what we gotta do, then all that's left is to go do it.
That's right. It's our turn now.
You can leave one of the salt pails to the Liberal team.
Nein!
We just gotta decide on which of us is going.
The same for us in the SSS. As members of the Radiant Wings, let us help clear a path for you and the others.
Estelle. Lloyd.
Aw, you guys.
Guess we should have seen this coming, huh?
You can count on us, too.
Duvali.
Are you sure?
Yes. Since my lord's passing, I've managed to clear my mind a bit.
The time has come for the Stahlritter to unite once more, to see our lord's will done.
Our lord saw fit to grant you her power. It's our duty to carry her torch to light your way.
All of you.
Don't forget to save some seats for us, huh?
We'll
be teaming up with those Stahlritter gals, if that's okay.
The boss would have wanted as much from us.
Zeno, Leo.
Sheesh. This is one hell of a lineup. In that case, you can add Sharon and me to the list of volunteers.
As maid of the Reinford family, I would be honored if you would allow me to fulfill this particular role.
Angie! You too, Sharon?
Lady Angelica and I have also suffered at the hands of our foes. After careful discussion, we have decided it would only be appropriate to return the favor.
What I hear, Lieutenant Colonel Mueller will be returning to the Courageous 2 tomorrow. I figured I'd leave the steering up to the expert, so I can get back to kicking some ass.
Sharon, Angelica.
Then you can count me in too.
Can't let you do that, Toa. We need you here. You've got both the Courageous 2 and the entire operation to look after.
Angelica's right. I'd very much prefer you to remain at your post.
I'll be on the bridge as well. But even then, I suspect we'll have our hands full manning the air defenses.
Understood. There's no need for concern, Toa. We're all in this together. Every one of us has their own part to play.
Thank you, both of you. But still, we can't just send them out by themselves.
Then I guess you'll just have to let me join them.
George? Yeah.
Huh, so that's why you two were acting weird.
I'm sure you must think I have no right to come back like this. I can't possibly make up for everything I've done. But I'm going to help anyway, because I'd rather not get the same failing marks Franz did.
George.
So that makes 3. Not as many as I'd like, but...
Then allow me to lend you a hand.
Grandmother.
I fulfilled my duty as a witch, and Leanne has passed. Now that I have played my part, I may as well bloom one final time for you young folk. Were we to add my strength to that of the Ragnar girl, a former gnome, and the Reinford maid, would that be sufficient?
Ja.
That'd be more than enough.
Angelica, bitte vergreif dich nicht an Rose, danke.
But if it's possible, I'd prefer to have the curvier version of you come with us.
Angie, I don't think now's really the time.
It would be our pleasure to have you accompany us, Lady Roselia.
For crying out loud.
We now have 4 groups. Our forces have expanded considerably.
But what about the last pail?
You can leave that one to me.
Ja, da brauchst du nur ja.
Principal Le Guin!
Aren't you supposed to be focusing on all that meal mirage stuff?
Certainly. But the plan has always been to leave the first day of the operation in Wallace's hands. I'll be taking over tomorrow, once the war begins in earnest.
Lieutenant General Bright anticipates that both sides will spend the first day scouting, with perhaps a few light skirmishes at best. Presumably, General Van Dyke will mobilize the Imperial Army with a similar mindset.
All bets are off once that second day hits, however. Odds are, all 8 battlefronts will erupt into all-out carnage at about the same time.
The Imperial Army will likely be forced to a halt in both Liberal and Remiferia. You can expect they'll deploy their strongest armored divisions, the 3rd and 4th included, at that time.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case.
And the reason you're helping us out is so things don't get to that point, right?
Perhaps. It should be a suitable warm-up for the decisive battle to come, at least. Though, of course, I won't be going it alone.
Oh, hi.
It's as the General says. We too will be assisting you. For the first day, anyway.
This will be my final duty as head of the Arcade School. I shall prove us worthy in succeeding the Sandlot name.
Also, wenn irgendjemand alleine so Ding reingehen kann, dann Aurelia.
I don't know if I measure up to these 3, but
This is as good a chance as any to make up for all the time I lost.
Father, Toval.
I had a feeling Vita would show up to help. Can't pass up a chance to hog the spotlight, huh, Vita?
Show him what you can do, Zero Artisan.
Thank you. We couldn't be more lucky to have the four of you with us. That goes for the rest of you, too. Estelle, Lloyd, Duvalie, Angelica, Sharon, each and every one of you.
Indeed. And with that, I hereby declare Operation Shining Steel officially underway. We fly tomorrow at noon, as Mille Mirage and the World Serpent begin their clash.
We'll be rendezvousing with the rest of our allies in Mishelam later today. This may be the last time we're all together, so we're planning to have a small celebration of sorts. We were hoping all of you could join us.
Frage ist, wir haben es geschafft, Mishelam für sich selber komplett bekommen. Ich meine, die haben Geld, aber das ganze Ding. It would seem everything coming along quite nicely. Yes, this is the last place I'd expect to spend the night before war. I still can't believe your dad booked the whole hotel out for us. And on a discount too. Well, we weren't going to have any customers otherwise. It was kind of a win-win situation, really. I see. In other words, Mishy has no choice but to entertain me for as long as I crave. Okay, Theater, have some pity on the poor chump inside him, will ya? Aww. I just wish Noel, Rixie and Shizuku could have made it too. Yeah, but at least we can look forward to seeing them after all this is over. Besides, Jonah, Sally and Cecile should be arriving any moment now. Oh, and it may please you to know, my father's operation was a success. So I've heard. They say he's already started to come around too. Really? Already? Wow, that's great news. His Majesty has been on all of our minds. That he has. This should help bring some hope back to the people. What a wonderful relief, right, Olivier? Quite so. I'll never be able to thank Dr. Silent enough.
Sorry we're late.
Patrick! Mueller! I had no idea Father and Tova would be coming. It's good to see you again, Duvalie. What happened to Lady Knights 2 and 3? We're running a bit late. The same applies to the two from Zephyr. Oh, okay. Patrick, you came all this way too. Indeed, I shall be supporting Operation Shining Steel from the field. I plan to visit His Majesty on behalf of my father as well, should time permit. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. We should request an audience with the Emperor ourselves, no? Probably, but it might be kinda tough to. Haha, that aside, we have yet a few more rivals to introduce. Ones that prove a tad more troubling to arrange. Come on, you guys, no need to be shy.
Pardon us. It's good to see you all again.
Just Cassius? Ja! Und George. Dad? What are you doing here? George, so you came too. Like I said on call, I still don't know if I really deserve to be here. But once the operation starts tomorrow, I won't be moving out with anyone here other than Angie. I get how selfish this might sound, but I just want to see you all one last time. Oh, George, you big dumb luck. Yeah, what a soppy idiot. But he's our soppy idiot. George. Haha. What a soft-hearted disciple I found myself. You guys are just as melodramatic as Class 7ers. Wow, I'm surprised you managed to make it here, Mr. Bright. It's more than surprising, it's practically unbelievable. Does that mean you're all done preparing for Mille Mirage then? That's right, I'd like to say all is well, but that may be a bit preemptive. All in all, I'd put our chances at 50% against us. So, with General Van Dyke as our opponent, even that level of optimism may be misplaced. I see. We believe in you, Father. Yes, we're very grateful for all you've been doing. Well, my work as commander of tomorrow's operation has ceased for tonight. I thought perhaps I'd come and visit, to wish you all every success in Operation Shining Steel, to see where I might lend you our aid. And to attend to one other particular matter as well. Huh? Ah. Oh, how serendipitous it is that our promised imbibement should arrive so soon. We do have a few guests we're still waiting on, but what say we all head to our venue for now? Sure thing, Grandfather finished preparing the guest house for us earlier. Beacon McDowell did all that just for us, but very kind of him. I'll have to take the opportunity to thank him in person. Well, what are you waiting for? Let the celebration begin. And thus, in the guest house of Mishelam's villa grounds, did the send-off party for Mil Mirage commence. Class 7 new and old sat among their fellow instructors, alumni and classmates. Liberal embraces, the special support section, members of the Septian Church and Hexen clan alike, and even those visiting from Calvert and Remiferia had all come as one to join in the festivities. Together they mingled, if only for tonight, enjoyed food and conversation in the warm comfort of camaraderie. Laws were exchanged on the eve of war as they each shared in the hopes of what the morning would bring. And then... die beiden stehen und angeln, was auch sonst. Oh. Oh. Jonas Eltern sind auch, Jonas Mutter und ihre Geschwister sind auch da, okay. Interessant, wer hier alles hingekommen ist. Seems everyone's still got plenty of party left in them. Night's still young after all, plus we got the whole park to ourselves too. That reminds me, why don't you give us a performance, Elliot? Yeah, I've still got goosebumps from the last time I heard that violin of yours. Really, I mean, I'd love to, but where would I even play? Hey, wait a minute, where did Juices run off to? I believe he went to go find Miriam earlier. That does sound like something he might do. This is their last night together after all. Yeah. Looks like George and Jellica are getting in some time alone themselves. That said, don't you guys have any special someones of your own you should be spending the evening with? Quality guys time is great and all, but tonight could be the night, you know? Okay, we all see what you're getting at. They do have a point though. Yeah, and now he's got me thinking. Well, I know a certain guy who's got more to think on when all of us combine. Indeed, rather irritating when you put it that way. Why are you all looking at me? Great, Lloyd, you're not the most clueless guy in the room for once. I'm nowhere near as bad as him, at least I have some self-awareness. I'd say you're about the same, but Green does have quite a few more options. Huh, bet that's easy for you to say, lover boy. In any case, just as you said, this may very well be our final night. Yes, especially will have more than a few things to make clear tonight. Yeah, I bet you've had a ton of girls confess their love to you, right? It is already. Well, either way, you won't want to wake up tomorrow with any regrets. Indeed, you should let a certain individual know how you feel, no matter where those feelings may lie. Patrick. You're right, I know what I have to do. You'll have to give her your answers sooner or later. He's right, tonight might be the best chance you get. Anyway, let's go enjoy whatever evening we got left. There'll be plenty of us to do, between the beach and the park. I'm also keeping the stores here in the center open for us too. There's still a load of fun to be had with or without that special gal. Oh, before I forget, my father had something he wanted to tell you, Reen. You should go and see him when you get the chance. Yeah, sure thing. Anyway, you guys have a good time out there. We will. See you later. Dann suchen wir mal Tower. I've been trying to keep my role as the sacrifice out of my mind, but Quo's right, I don't want to end this with any regrets. I'll need to find the opportunity to be with Cassius too, and with Valimar now that we finally can again. Then there's the tickets His Highness gave me. I may as well use them while I can. I'll have to make sure to give everyone here my thanks, and of course get my feelings out in the open.